leaf springs. Why? Why do you want leaf springs? Because Jeep Cherokees had leaf springs. Now my Jeep Cherokee will have leaf springs. Alright, welcome back to the bench. We're working on the Tuff truck today. I'm using an SCX10 2 raw builder's kit. And the reason I'm using that is I got a deal for 143 bucks from Horizon Hobbies a couple weeks ago. You know, it's a pretty good deal. So that's what I'm using for the basis of this Tuff truck. Now, I'm making it on a 1996, 95, 94 year model Jeep Cherokee. You can see that in the introduction to this project video. I'll put it in the description. I'll also put the parts list in the description of everything that we use to do this. Okay, now you can see I got one on and it works. So what I'm going to do is show you how I put this on. I've ended up buying 2 sets of leaf springs, and I just ended up with 2 sets. Cost 20 bucks on Amazon. There's a million of these kits on Amazon. You don't have to buy 2 sets. You just buy one if you want. Okay? So you need a leaf spring. It comes with the front shackles. Here and here. And it comes with a rear shackle. But it doesn't come with anything to bolt it to the axle, because they're universal. Okay, so what I did was I got some long screws that I had in my parts bin. I think they're 25 millimeter screws, and use those as the shock bolts for like U-bolts. And because I had 2 of these, 2 sets, so I had an extra one of these, I just cut this in half and used this as the bottom of the, to lock it onto the axle. Okay, so here's the part. I just broke it in half. I'm going to trim this off and straighten it out and make it pretty. But then, if you look at it, it's got 5 holes. The 2 end holes in the shackle are half shackle, are big enough for the screw to go through. But the middle one is really not big enough for the screw to go through. Okay? So you need to drill out those holes, whichever hole you're going to use on the other end. I'm going to use the middle one. Okay, you can see here I used the middle one. And just drill that hole out with a 1/8 inch drill bit. Okay, now you also have to drill a hole in this link mount. Okay, just drill a hole on top. It's actually not going to hurt anything, because if you wanted to go back to links, you could. You're not ruining this, so you can't use links. Okay, so you use a 1/8 inch drill, and just drill a hole right in the middle of that link mount top, the top of the link mount. Okay, now those, the 25 millimeter screws that I'm using, okay, fit right down inside there and comes out the other side. Okay, and then the other one you'll be able to put here and then bolt the shackle the leaf spring to the axle by using this plate right here, or any plate, any piece of metal where you can drill 2 holes that are far enough apart to put these 2 screws in. If you see, if you put this on here, one fits. The other one goes through the 3rd hole, but it won't quite fit. So you drill a hole where you need it, or make the hole bigger, larger. Okay? So let me expand that hole. I'll be right back. Okay, I didn't want you to have to listen to that crazy drill. Alright, so once you do that, then you can place this on here. And again, you can cut this off. Use whatever piece of metal you want. I'm going to cut these off and paint them and make it fit, but I'm trying to get this out so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then all you have to do is take the leaf spring. It already has holes in it, and put it through there. Put the shackle on, the half shackle. Use the nuts that came with it because they are nylon nuts. And tighten it up. And then put the other one in. Through the other hole, and we go right down the back of the axle. And then get it in that 3rd hole and tighten it up, then you're ready to go. Okay, so once you got that on, then the frame. Okay, now we got the leaf springs on the axle. Once you get the leaf springs on the axle, then we have to determine where we're going to put them on here. Okay, now our shock towers go in the holes in the rear. This hole in here for 12.3 inches. Okay, that's 13 millimeters, 12.3 inches. Okay, so the shock towers go here and here. Okay, so we can put our leaf spring front shackle here. Okay, so this would be these 2 pieces here. Okay, so we can put those here. And they fit perfectly. Okay, I won't tighten them up all the way yet. All right, and then we can put the rear shackle here. Okay, now, I don't know exactly. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to have to be on the outside of the frame. Okay? Like this, because it's just a little wider than just being under the frame. Okay, so we got this too. All right, and then the rear shackle will go in the very last hole. Okay. Now in between these hangers, shackles, whatever you want to call them, is a space, which is really not very conducive to the C channel on the SCX10 too. So we're gonna have to put a spacer in here. Okay, and I have these little spacers here that can go in here so that when we put this on here, it won't be wobbling all over the place, okay? And we'll put that spacer on the outside so that the shackle is hanging with the same place as the... So we just put that spacer in there. My big old clod hopping fingers. I'll put the other side on and then I'll be back. Okay, so now we have both of them on. You're doing a little finagling with the yeah, it's pretty stiff. We may have to take a couple of those leaves out. All right. So, there it be. So basically, these two holes here and the last hole here. Okay? Now you can still put a bracket here, and you can put brackets, the original brackets. You won't be able to put the back bracket on here. Well, you could. If you took this screw out, put that bracket in there, and put the screw back in. I didn't think about that. Shock towers will still fit where they need to go. And the rear bracket will go where it needs to go. All you need to do is, where I got these bolted, just get some longer screws and go into the bracket. Okay, so I didn't like the tension on the springs. So what I did is, we had it here and here and here. This hole and this hole. Well, I moved it to this hole, and I'm going to drill two new holes, one here and one over here, and move it forward just a little bit. It gives me a little less tension on the springs, and it's a little better. It looks better too. We don't have big gaps in our springs. Okay, so after I move these over and drill the hole, that's much better. We don't have gaps in our springs, and it fits. So basically, the only real modifications you have to make is drill a hole in the link mount, the top of the link mount, 1/8 of an inch. Make a bracket or a piece of metal, go across the bottom, 2 screws, 25 millimeters, and that will make a fake U-joint, basically, to hold it there, okay? And then re-drill this hole here, use the first hole that Axio provided and drill another hole here. And that is it. And now we have our correct drive, or 12.3 axle wheelbase, and we have our leaf springs. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. When I get to the rest of this, I'll come back and show you what I did, if there's any more modifications that have to be done to make this leaf spring thing work. Have a great day.